Why don't we start with, we got on this subject because I just, in passing, I said, you know, prosecutors a lot of times like to say in a criminal case, they like to get up there and say, well, you're innocent until proven guilty. And so we don't object, we don't object. We don't make a big deal about it, but then we like to get up there and say to the jury, folks, how would you like it if the judge told you you're going to be here all day unless we figure this out? Or you're going to be here unless we figure this out, as opposed to you're going to be here until we do something. I think there's a big difference, right? Until means it's going to happen. We're going to figure this out, right? And once we do, you're not going to be here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when you said that last week or the week and a half ago, I can't remember what it was. I think it was last week. I'm thinking, man.
But if I say unless, hell, you may never leave. Right? So it's a big difference because, until proven guilty, that assumes, well, we're going to prove you guilty and that you are guilty, and all we got to do is put on our evidence, and this case is over. As opposed to innocent unless proven guilty, unless your evidence rises to the level of proving that I am guilty.
Can't you even mess up that word unless? They could just keep looking and looking and looking and looking, and unless they find something later on down the road?
Well, I guess they could keep coming back. That's why we have the double jeopardy clause, which we talked about 2 weeks ago.
That's why you're so good.
Okay?
That's why you're extraordinary.
Hey, there's a difference. Words mean things. Don't let somebody try to tell you, well, you're innocent until proven guilty. Although, I realize that a lot of times that's how it goes. It goes, you're guilty until proven innocent. But I guess we could say you're going to be proven innocent.
No, actually, you're guilty
unless proven innocent. And I got some other little tidbits. DPS always has these. I'm a criminal defense lawyer too, so I get to make these kinds of jokes and phrases when they're politically incorrect for everybody else. But they go on TV, the DPS, and I gladly will encourage Mad to call me. So anyway, especially since their leader 2 or 3 years ago got hit for DWI, I thought that was great. Anyway, DPS has the advertisements that talk about, drinking and driving is illegal. Drink, you drive, you go to jail. That may be true. A police officer may try to arrest you, so I don't encourage you to do it. Technically, that's incorrect. There is no law on the books, right? And I'll preface this here in a second. I guess I'm not prefacing it then, but I'm gonna qualify it here in a second. But there is no law on the books in Texas that makes it a crime to drink and drive.
Yeah,
I totally can drink and drive. So yes, there's always the guy in the jury pool in the DWI case that'll go, well, it's against the law for you to have an open container. Yeah, but you can't be arrested for it. It's a non-arrestable offense. You cannot be arrested for having an open container. And if Rogers...
I just heard a whole bunch of beer cans being popped off.
Hey, and if Rogers, Texas tries to arrest you for it, okay, you need to make sure you tell the police officer the law, okay? And, sorry about that, Rogers. Yeah, I'm not backing down on that either. Anyway, so I gladly will welcome complaint calls on that one.
254-697-6633.
Hey, and so you can drink and drive, you just can't. You can't drive while intoxicated. That is a DWI. You cannot drive while intoxicated. Now, I'm going to also tell you that there's 2 ways to be intoxicated, which is the .08, right, on the blood alcohol level, and the officer's opinion about whether or not you've lost the use of your mental and physical faculties. So, I suppose an officer could come in there and say that even though you're a .01, you've lost the use of your mental and physical faculties, therefore he arrested you. So, yeah, I guess you could be arrested, but technically there's no crime on the books about drinking and driving. And I'd like to see a police officer arrest somebody for a .01, and as long as they're good on the tape, there's going to be a problem, okay? But you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride, right? So still be careful and drink responsibly. Okay, so then child custody. I always get guys, and the dads that are on these first, third, and fifth weekend schedules are gonna know. It's like, yep. That's easy. I got that. Okay, but for and I say dads because that's usually how it is. Yes, that's just the standard. I'm sorry, it's not every case. You're right, but that's most of the time. Okay, and so, but for those of you that are looking to go and do this, and actually it is kind of changing. I see more and more of the other, dads getting actually more custody than mothers now. I think I'm seeing slowly more cases built up around those scenarios. But for those of you thinking about going on it, and somebody's saying standard, or you just guys are assuming it's every other weekend, wrong. Okay, it's not. When I say first, third, and fifth, it's exactly what we mean. That means you're going to have 2 weekends in a row sometimes. Just remember. I mean, it's those little things. And I have parents start out that actually get in a fight over this. No, it's my weekend because no, dude, it's first, third, and fifth. So if you've got a month with 3 weekends, you're going to get them back-to-back weekends. Don't let mom try to bamboozle you, okay, into thinking, oh, it's every other weekend. Read your damn orders. It's first, third, and fifth.
Words mean things.
So that means on the third weekend, right? You most likely, I guess I don't know if there's an exception here. I don't think so. Right on that third weekend, right? You're going to be getting them next weekend on the first weekend.
It depends, I guess. If like the first weekend is on the first day of the month, sometimes that happens where you get the 4 weekends.
Yeah, I'm not going to say this could never happen where you get a weekend after the.
Sometimes it does.
Okay. So but just make sure you do what I'm telling you to do, and you go look and say, oh, first, third, and fifth. If it's a fifth week, I say third. Yeah, first I meant fifth. So I meant fifth. If it's the fifth weekend, there's not going to be a sixth.
And then that's right. Then the first comes right up to it. That's
right. And the first is going to come right after. That's what I mean. I'm sorry, I got a little turned around here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got excited.
Colors, man.
I got delirious here for a second. So if it's the fifth weekend, right? You're going to get them that first weekend, which is the next weekend. You're going to have 2 weekends back to back, right? And do the math. Don't say, well, no, it's every other weekend. Try to add up every other weekend. You're going to think, well, I'm getting shortchanged on my time. You're going to get 2 weekends back to back.
Did they do that on purpose, or was that an accidental thing that happened?
No, I think they did it on purpose. You're trying to get both parents. Really, it should work out. If the dad exercises his Thursday visitations, and I say dad again, I understand. I'm just trying to make it clear what I'm talking about. So I'm using one party versus another. So if dad or the non-primary uses the Thursday visitation and they're super extended over the holiday. I mean not the holiday, but the summertime, right? It should end up pretty close to even. It really does. It gets pretty close to even time. Although the primary does get the child more, but it ends up more close than people think. And once they add up the days, like, oh yeah, okay. So, and then we talked about family violence before on this program. Know that it says family is people who are related by affinity. Okay, and that can be like your brother-in-law. Okay, it does say family defines family as affinity, related by affinity. Okay,
how far out does that go?
Yeah, you're gonna have to go look in the government code, but I can tell you that it goes that far. Okay, it's gonna be related to. I think it might go that far for affinity for family purposes, but it can include the in-laws. Okay, so just know that, right? I'm not gonna go too far down the line because I don't want to say something that's wrong. I probably could on affinity. Okay, but also know that dating relationship. You say, well, it's not dating violence, and you guys, I don't only do cases here in Milam County. I have some fun cases in Austin and Houston that have involved those of the same sex, right, choice. And so I get these cases where we have situations of dating violence, right? And just know. Well, I remember I talked about the case in Marlin, right? What is dating a mere acquaintance? No, it's got to be more than that. But we talk about what are friends with benefits.
Huh.
What are friends with benefits?
Pretty good.
I love it, but hey, man. You got to be careful if you're having a friends with benefits type of relationship, and because what if she gets mad at you and comes at you with a knife or a sword, as in one of my cases, comes at you with a sword, what do?
I would defend myself.
Would you? I don't know. Some people have said that they were defending themselves and got convicted for first-degree felonies. Okay, so just be careful about what you're doing, but also know.
Just become a monk.
Just also know that dating has had a dating relationship. So there's no time limit on these things. So if you see your significant other at the South Beach Metro Club, right on Montrose in Houston, okay, that you haven't seen in a while, and he's talking shit about you, you don't just go off and start, a fight, man. Hey, but yeah, excuse me. I'm just being real. You don't go start a fight, okay? Because it's a has-had dating relationship. That's going to be a family violence, right, conviction, right? And it's going to be a conviction under most things because that's family violence. It's gonna be,
why do they do that? Because emotions run deep? Is that what it is?
I guess, and they don't want people, they feel like people maybe can take an advantage from somebody still because they had some kind of emotional, right?
Inside knowledge.
Yeah, something to that effect, or had a psychological ability to have some kind of psychological effect on a person. Right, which I hate because it's natural, like I said, for brothers and even cousins sometimes just to fight, just to be.
It's normal.
Yeah, it's normal for boys to grow up. I don't want my son growing up without ever having been in at least one fight.
How has it gotten this way where everything's so litigated? And you're this aggressive attorney and you like law. How does it get from common sense to this is ridiculous? What's going on in the system?
Well, I mean, why do we have? I mean, I don't know, man. We talked about this. I mean, I can't. The breakdown of the family nucleus, over proliferation of regulation, right? Too much administrative details within the liberalism to the other side of the degree, not to like socially liberal standpoint. I mean, people relying too much on government, right, sustenance, right? I mean, I don't. All of these things, I think, play a role. We've gotten away from the independence part of being an American, okay, and that's why we're going through things like such as free range parenting. It should be a natural. That should be a given that we have free range parenting, and only when in those situations where the child. I would love comments about whether or not smoking marijuana, not around the children, but having smoked marijuana, just having it in your bloodstream when you're pregnant, if you would think that is child abuse, when there's absolutely, from what I understand, no scientific evidence that would be harmful to the fetus. I can understand both ways. I would just like feedback to see what people thought about that.
254-697-6633. Smoking pot.
And so,
women.
And so you talk about the CPS not going to take your child. You have a couple of drinks or smoking cigarettes. But boy, they're gonna take your kid if they figure out you smoke some pot.
Yeah, but right now, isn't pot illegal?
It is illegal, but we're talking about harm to the child.
Well, that's.
So you're telling me you can do something legal that actually would kill your child versus something that's illegal that doesn't harm your child at all?
I'm just
offering
an potential insight into the reasoning.
No, and I'm just playing devil's advocate to your reasoning. So that's what I'm saying. I think there's two sides of the coin here. I think that I would like to see some feedback. What people think out there. But anyway, then I always get this. I've actually gotten stopped about 5 years ago by a police officer when I passed somebody on the shoulder. He was going to give me a ticket. And I said, really? I think you should go read the code section. And he said, well, it says necessary. And I said, dude, it's necessary to comply. That's what the Court of Criminal Appeals said. Yes, so, dude, when somebody's making a left turn, and there's room on the shoulder, if I'm behind you, you better go or I'm honking. So you better pass him on the shoulder and go. Because when the code says necessary, it means necessary to compliance with the code. Okay, so yes, if it's necessary to pass because you're holding me up. Okay? So we got the dome light. I'm always getting questions about, can you have a dome light on? I've even had some people get stopped when they've had the dome light on the car. From what I take, it's not illegal, but I don't know the answer to that.
Can you have a chandelier on the front of your hood?
Oh, shit. Hey, I don't know. Man, come on. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either.
Hey, Signaling stops. You want to brake check somebody, that's right up on your butt, okay? You want to brake check them, all right? Just got to be careful because an operator may not stop or suddenly decrease speed of the vehicle without first giving a stop signal, okay, or signaling to the other person that you're about to stop, okay? So don't do that, all right? And grandparent, here's what I got. I got you. And so the last point I want to make is I had a great time in Brazoria County yesterday. I'll say it again, Brazoria County, okay? And I'm not going to speak on a pending case. That would be unethical, but I do have a First Amendment right to say why the public trust in the judicial system is fading and why we cannot maintain public trust. And it's because we get judges and other places that are more bound to personal politics, right, and wanting to hold against somebody because they're an out-of-town lawyer and wanting to treat out-of-town lawyers in a disrespectful manner. And people do not trust that the law can go be applied equally simply because judges are bound by personal politics. And I don't mind saying yesterday, and I don't understand what the associate judges are. I won't say any names, but I don't understand what the point of these associate judges are, such as the associate judges in Brazoria County, when they're so have absolutely no authority to do anything that they violate their constitutional duty, violate the separation of powers doctrine, and violate the open courts doctrine by asserting jurisdiction and power and authority when they actually have none. It was the first time yesterday I ever had a judge tell me they agree with me, they have no authority, they do not have jurisdiction, but I'm not going to do anything because I have no authority anyway. Well, then why are you a judge? And why do you offer me 5 minutes to make an argument, right, and then give the other side 30 minutes? And I'll say another thing. It doesn't look very good from a public standpoint when the public shows up into a court and they see a lawyer flailing around in the courtroom speaking to the other attorney directly instead of to the court, okay, and speaking outrageously and making demands to the other attorney personally. I'm sure I didn't handle myself as well as I should have, but it was the court's duty to rein in that local attorney and to establish local rules that actually have bite so that I did not have to defend myself personally to another lawyer. Anyway, those things are why the public trust in the system is fading and why we cannot trust, right, certain judges, and why it was important to have an actual elected official instead of associate judges in place that can actually not do anything but weaken our system. So with that being said, I've said my piece, and that's my opinion piece. And I don't know if you've got any more questions. If you do, shoot.
Wrong thing to say.
Wow, man, when you talk, people listen, dude. Let me tell you, you talk with.
I was told I was very passionate yesterday.
Very passionate, extremely passionate. But what you're saying is true. I totally get what you're saying. When you explain the situation and how it happens, you shouldn't have to go through all that. And there is local town politics going on and everything. There's cliques all over the place, and I can't stand it either.
And I get that, and I actually respect that part of it, but don't go so far as to just allow a local attorney to act any kind of way possible. I will be requesting a video, right, from the courtroom yesterday. Okay, there's a difference in respecting the local politics and then just being subject to them.
We'll clarify respecting the local.
I think I totally get. You're going to respect the local guys because they have credibility. You have somebody that you've never seen before. It's just hard, and that's a natural thing. That's why that doesn't bother me. But when you become subject to them, right, and you're willing to look past, right, the rules of decorum, right, completely. Okay, it's going too far.
That's where the respectability should come in, is specifically in a courtroom, because you're going by set laws and rules, and it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. If you apply those rules, everybody becomes
exactly. But I'm a realist. I'm just not going to make complaints about any kind of little thing like this. I'm talking on major stuff. When you become subject, just allow another party to act however they want to act and speak to another attorney directly. In my opinion, you're doing the system a disservice. You're doing our entire system. You make our entire system look bad.
So if you have a situation like that,
you make my profession look bad. I don't appreciate it.
If you're in a courtroom trying to defend somebody and you have this type of antics going on, and it does not go to your favor, how can you take care of that after that court decision?
Again, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Report this? I'm way outnumbered. The attorneys in there are going to back the judge, obviously, but I have my own witnesses there, so I'm fine today. I mean, This is why I do this show. I feel like sometimes I have an obligation to speak out on this type of stuff. I have a right to speak. It upsets me, right? These judges are subject to the public opinions, and so they're public officials. I believe that's why, right? We have shows like this in order to get these opinions so people know what's actually going on.
Okay, so people hear somebody like you, they read documentation, they watch a TV show, they get informed, but they don't act. What act should they do to try to ensure that what you're saying gets actually...
Go to the courts, watch what I'm talking about, and then make a complaint to the Judicial Conduct Commission.
Who would you make a complaint to?
You could make a complaint to the Judicial Conduct Commission. I'm not going to, but you could make a complaint to the state bar. Okay, you could make a complaint to your legislature, legislators, right? You could make a complaint to your congressman. Okay, you could speak out just locally at the commissioner's court. You could speak to the local mayor. You can talk to the local city council member. A lot of times, they even though they may not have a direct legal authority to do anything for you, they definitely have political ties that they can go say, hey, they can go talk to the judges directly or at the commissioner's court. They have connection to other people that they can advocate basically on your behalf where you would have otherwise no weight or credibility or authority to even get your point across. Okay, so tell people. I think Kiki Sims was just elected. I was delighted to see that she had run, but I think that's one reason she wanted to try to get some issues to the table that just had never been able to get to the table. So I think she's trying to look at some of the new issues. So go talk to people like Kiki. I think she'd be receptive, right? To maybe she's not advocate for you, but I think she'll at least be receptive to hearing, right, any kind of complaint you have. And that's really what you need to do. Go talk to these people.
Yeah, because just listening to it and talking about it over the dinner table or discussing it with your friends in a local.
Hey,
club
but we'll take any publication. I will take, right? If the best you can do is talk to your friends at the bar, maybe at some point the message gets to somebody who's in a leadership role.
Granted, that's true, but it just goes beyond that. You got to do more than just.
I agree.
You got to do more than just what everybody else does.
I agree.
That's why I got this show. I get on this show for a couple of reasons. A handful of reasons. One, I enjoy it. Two, I get to talk to people like you and Rick and all the others. But I feel as though I personally have an agenda, and my agenda is try to stay on the core element of life. I know there's a realism to life, but there's a purism of it too. I like to stay right on the fine line between purism and realism, as close as I can get it. And getting on the radio, I try to send that out the airwaves, people to hear it, maybe convince 2 or 3 people, and you're doing the same by saying what you're saying here. Yes?
Yes, it's like, I'll stop.
No,
before I start listing names out, and that's probably unethical at that point. But hey, I just want people to understand and know what's going on out there. And sometimes these officials have gotten away with so much; they feel like their authority is just untouchable, right? Because nobody ever calls them out on it. I'm gonna call you out.
Well, they're probably afraid because those people who, like you just said, feel they have all the power probably have a nice little circle of friends who are going to back them up and can cause you problems. So if you don't have people, that's the problem. Ross, you may have somebody who understands and knows and wants to go out there and bring it up, but there's a lot of weak-minded, fearful people that will stay quiet, and you're there sitting out on the front line all by yourself to get attacked by that group or clique that is opposed to you because you're ruffling their feathers.
Well, I would like to see this attorney come up into a different court around Central Texas and act the way he acted yesterday. That's all I've got to say.
Now, you made a comment about you're seeing things turn in the child support, where the dad's getting more benefits as compared to the women, because we all know that the women usually gets a child, the guy loses his house, his dog, the whole works. Why do you think you're seeing a trend in the other direction?
I think dads are just getting more responsibility. I think the old traditional view. Hey man, I think the old traditional view. I think the old traditional view that dads can't take care of their kids, right? It's mom's job. I think that's going away. I think more women are working full time in the workplace, and I think that they're taking more roles that men probably traditionally would have taken, and now the dads are seeing, that view has slowly died, in my opinion, or is dying, and so men don't think that rule applies anymore, or hey, just it's necessary in some cases, and then I think judges are becoming more acceptable to the view that dad can be just as effective caregiver as mom can be. Does that make sense? And so judges are, I think, more willing to, in some cases, give dads custody of the kids when they wouldn't otherwise have done that.
Okay.
You don't think I'm...
No, what you said, I actually agree with what you said. It's just there's a whole lot more in my head running around about.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, I had a jury trial with trying to get a father custody of a child. And I mean, I if it wasn't for good lawyer on the other side, I would have busted the jury panel. I mean, I had people going, "Oh, I don't think dad could do that. No, that's mom's job. That's mom's job." I think like still public opinion out there is that it's mom's job. But I feel like that's slowly dying too. I think
there's a lot of guys out there that are still like us in the manly sense. Okay, you look at them, you're manly, you act manly. All this kind there's a lot of wussified men out there. They're acting like
I don't
like
think
women.
you're wussified just because you're a dad that takes care of your kids.
No, you didn't let me finish my statement. There's a lot of wussified guys out there that act more like women, and then so they come in there and they say, "Well, you act
now you're
like
gonna get women saying, "What do you mean by that?"
Well, we can have that discussion when they're having a hard time finding a good guy to date. It's because they're all women. That's why they're all going. It's crazy.
Hey, that's why you need to know what dating relationship you may.
You know why there's a man in a relationship? Because the woman can't do certain things the guy does. And you know why the man's married to his wife is because the man can't do everything for his children that a woman can do.
I'm saying he can't do everything for himself.
That's why the two together make a great team, man.
I was just joking.
Mama
come on, I'll take complaints. I'll take complaints from all you today. I'm ready. Come on.
In most cases, mama puts that gentle love and touch and caress on the hair, and then dad says, "You screwed up, dude. We're going to square that away," and together it works out perfect. But I just think it's all screwed up backwards, man. You need to get back. I ain't shoveling nothing out.
You're digging a hole.
I'm digging it in deeper. I don't care. That's the way it is, man. That's what I'm talking about, staying in the purism and the realism. The realistic part of it is it's going to hell in a handbasket. The pure side says this is the way it should be.
Well, I don't think that's going the wrong direction. I think a lot of dads out there are doing a lot of good and a really good job about being involved in their kids' lives. I think there were some traditional views that caused dads to say, "I'm too good for that family."
I'm not arguing that fact. I'm arguing the fact that when
I'm not saying you are. I'm just
break
saying
up and the women usually get it, but now more men are getting it. I'm wondering why. I
want to go ahead and sound off on this since I might have just a little bit of experience in the situation.
All right, go ahead.
From what I believe, it doesn't matter. The gender doesn't matter. It's whoever's best equipped to fill that job for the child. If the woman is tougher than the man, let her be the one that does the tough. Teach the child how to endure.
I won't argue that.
If the man is better at nurturing, let him be the one. Don't belittle him because he does it. Don't belittle her because she does that.
Those are anomalies, though. I see them as anomalies.
Anomaly or not, it should be the fact. It should be the natural order of things that the person best suited for the job gets the job.
I got you. I agree with that, but I think it's also more complicated than that. Sometimes you have jobs that make a difference, and sometimes the man may not be the best out of the two at nurture, or at least may not be the type of person who's a good nurturer.
Right.
But it's necessary for him to do it because the other person's a POS.
Yeah.
Can I say POS?
Yeah,
you guys they're getting on me today.
That's
Okay. Okay.
That's a good show today.
That's
You're
it.
riled up there, Ross.
We are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We got when we have to. Yeah, you got to step in my shoes 1 week. I remember when I had a part-time job.
You can say, and I'm saying you can say. I'm saying I could say something, one thought, and it's lining up to have a 10 or 15 more thoughts to go with it to make a point. Yet that one point gets cut short, and it puts upon the public opinion as, oh, he thinks a certain way. No, you got to see the whole thing.
Well, I don't want to cut you
it's
short.
It's all worked out in my brain, buddy.
Well, go ahead. Make your other 14.
The radio show isn't long enough.
Make your other 14.
I'm just saying, there's a whole bunch of things that go with this, and everything's getting so weird and distorted that the natural elements of how things are supposed to work aren't happening that way.
No, I get you. Yeah, I get you.
That's why I say I'd like to go back to where it's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, I'm getting the finger.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Just know this. I would like comment, too, if you want to email me at benton@watson.legal. Benton@watson.legal. Where in the world does anybody that you know of? I'm going to ask you one more question.
Go ahead.
In your opinion, what is a parent of the child? What does that mean? A parent of the child. What is that?
You asked me that already. You want me to say it?
What is your answer? What was your first answer?
My first answer was grandparent.
Grandparent.
Oh yeah, that's grandparent.
Can just seeing that by itself, is there any way to say that includes anybody else but a grandparent? A parent of the child.
Something you always say, Ross, is that legal language is very specific. If it doesn't say specifically the parent of the parent of the parent of a child, then it doesn't mean the great grandparent.
Thank you. That's all I had to say.
Okay. Stay put for a second. Trey, let's take a break. First of all, tell everybody how they get a hold of it. Rick Dodd, Coppolino Dodd, Krebs Law Firm. They sponsor this segment. I'm beginning to wonder if they're still on. Okay. Tell them how they can get a hold of you, what you're doing, and all that.
254-605-4140, 254-605-4140. Email me about any questions with the show. Benton@watson.legal. It's Benton@watson.legal. You can come holler at me. I'm right down here in downtown Cameron, 105 East Main. Got the big milk cow on the side. Can't miss me. Or, holler at me in Houston if you make an appointment.
You got a problem. You want this guy on your side, man. All right. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
All right.
Wow, man.
You are on fire.